What is up, everybody? We have a new episode of Questions for the Goof. I know it's been a long time, although I do like to space this series out because I like to acquire enough questions over time to do the show for you guys. And I thought I had just about enough that I could do another episode. So I got my iPad here as usual with the questions. I just quickly glanced at them enough to pick the questions out of all of them that I thought were best for the show, and I combined them to a good amount, about the same as last episode. If you haven't checked out my series, Questions for the Goof, episode 1, please go back and make sure to check that one out so you get a little history of the show. But we're going to get right into this episode, okay? Also, thanks for everybody for contributing to the show and asking questions. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. We got one here from, excuse me if I'm not pronouncing names right, but I'll try my best. As you know, sometimes online names could get hectic. These are acquired from anywhere from Google Plus to YouTube to private messages to Twitter. Frank Van Grove, favorite Resident Evil game other than the first one? It's interesting that he says that, because I guess a lot of people definitely would say the first one. It is a classic. It's always hard to beat the first one. You know something, up until recently I would have probably said 4. But I tell you what, I'm really liking the console version of Resident Evil Revelations. I think that's really a phenomenal game. I'm really enjoying that one. It's coming to be one of my favorite, definitely. And it's a newer Resident Evil game. Of course, it's a port of the 3DS version, but on the Wii U, it's really, really well done. And believe it or not, if I could say a second one, it would actually be Resident Evil 6. Oh my God, what did he just say? Ooh, let's attack him. Well, that may be so, but watch my unboxing video of Resident Evil 6 if you want to hear my rants. I have a pretty strong theory on that game. That game is a phenomenal game for what it is. And the backlash is of course comparing it to the first Resident Evil and the continuation of survival horror. I'm not going to get into it. I'm already starting. So check that video out. I explain my thoughts and the problem with the mainstream media today. Okay, Joe Timpson, what do you think of Injustice on the Wii U? I've had a chance to play that version on all platforms. I particularly picked up the Wii U version myself. Well, here's the thing. I think it, as opposed to the other ones, I think it runs exactly the same. I think it looks phenomenal. The game works well. The multiplayer is pretty good. I haven't had any problems with online. There's some really kick-ass players on the Wii U. Let me tell you, there's some people that know their shit. I mean, you can check out my gameplay footage. I got my ass handed to me. There's some people that play that game 24/7 on the Wii U. They're no slouches. The only other thing I could say is, right now, I'm kind of at a standstill as far as giving it a complete rating because I'm hoping out that the developers keep what they're saying. I know Ed Boon keeps mentioning it, but they are saying, as far as the DLC and all the costume packs, that they're going to be releasing them in the summer. I'm pretty sure they're going to. I have pretty good belief in that. I would hope. That would suck, of course. That would definitely downgrade the score, of course. I'm hoping that they come back with a vengeance. I hope that they do come out with the DLC in the summer, maybe even an extra incentive to own the Nintendo Wii U version, as maybe as a sorry we took this long, maybe like a special Wii U only skin or something, or character even. I'm sure they're gonna do something. I have pretty good hope in that. So let's see. But other than that, it's phenomenal. So when that DLC comes out, oh yeah, it'll be a very good version, definitely. You can also play with the Pro Control, which is probably a lot better than playing with the gamepad. But you can play the game entirely on the gamepad, which I thought was kind of cool. Mary Dreamer Cat, best Xbox, Wii, and PS3 to remember the last generation, and best last gen game of all time. So I guess what she's trying to say is, how will these console systems be remembered after the next generation comes in? Well, here's the thing. They're still rolling out great games for those systems. The new systems haven't come out yet until the end of the year, hopefully. So there's still a lot coming out, and I'm going to be honest with you. So far, what's been coming out is phenomenal. I'm actually very impressed. Of course, you have the titles that are being rushed out, like a lot of these prequels and whatnot, because they're getting ready for the next generation, which makes sense. But then you have some of these games that are coming out that are really, really, I mean, BioShock Infinite, the new Tomb Raider, Ni no Kuni. These are games recently that I've been blown away by. You could definitely see the detail in them and how well they're made. So there's going to be plenty of titles to remember the console systems by. But here's the thing, though. I know Microsoft just made this announcement. These systems are not going anywhere anytime soon. There's actually a lot planned for these systems in the future. There's still a lot of games planned for them. There's supposed to be new announcements for the 360. So it's really hard to say how did it go out with a bang, because it's still going. These systems are still very relevant. Remember now, systems like the Xbox One cannot play 360 games and PS4, PS3 games. So these systems are still going to be very relevant. But I'll give you an example, or my what I think so far. I guess overall, well, here's the thing: PlayStation 3, right? You got me thinking now. I'm so looking forward to The Last of Us. I mean, what a way to showcase your system. I think The Last of Us is going to be the showcase for the PlayStation 3, being an exclusive. I mean, so I played the demo. I've been following this game religiously. It's going to be, I think, one of my all-time favorite. Of course, prior to that, I would have to say maybe God of War 3 was one of my favorite from PlayStation. Actually, I'll tell you what. There's quite a few. Heavy Rain comes to mind. Phenomenal Legacy PlayStation 3. There's so many to look back at. Little Big Planet was a complete blast for me over the years. The 360, I was always a fan of the Forza series. Forza 3, probably, and I'm talking about exclusives, probably took the most time of my life. And I played Skyrim on the Xbox 360. That was phenomenal. But yeah, Forza 3 on the Xbox 360. Skyrim, a lot from the 360 to remember. It's really, really hard to narrow it down. I loved Fable. I loved Fable 3. I enjoyed that game. I put countless hours in that game. You know. And then I guess technically then a Wii U is considered this generation. So I guess if you want to go back to the original Wii, I would have to say Mario Kart. I'm actually a very big fan of Animal Crossing, City Folk. Looking forward to the new 3DS one, New Leaf coming out. I'm a big fan of the Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 off the original Wii. The Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. So there's a lot to remember, and there's still a lot coming. So, good question. Oh, and best last gen game of all time, I would probably have to say Skyrim, for the amount of time that I put into that game and still putting in. And Fallout 3, gotta announce that. Don the Kid the Game. What next gen announced games are you most excited for? Games that have already been announced. Watch Dogs, definitely. Destiny, it's really, really looking up, man. It's, whew. I cannot wait to see that game shown at E3. Let me tell you, I'm gonna be glued. Watch Dogs, definitely. Black Flag is really, really looking really good. The new Assassin's Creed, Black Flag. That driving game that PlayStation 4 showed off, Drive Club. That looks really good. There's a lot, looking forward to seeing more of Forza 5. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how Diablo 3 looks on the PlayStation 4. So there's a lot. There's definitely a lot that I'm looking forward to. Larry the Giant 86. Are you looking forward to Beyond Two Souls? Absolutely not. Just kidding. Playing it on the channel. Yes, I am looking forward to it since I've seen the trailer, since I've seen it debuted at last year's E3. Put it to you that way. And I will definitely be playing it on the channel. And I cannot wait, and hopefully they show more at this year's E3. Okay. I think that game's going to be phenomenal. That game looks next gen. MikeBox720, what unannounced game would you like to see next on the Wii U? I don't know. If you mean unannounced, like something that would completely throw me a curveball that I wouldn't expect, or something that's not technically been announced but been rumored, like I'll give you an example. I would love to see the new Zelda be showed off, or the new Mario Kart, or the new Smash Brothers, or the new 3D Mario game that they keep hinting about. I'm dying to see them. A new game, a completely unannounced new game that they could show. Maybe a new Firefox. Maybe a new Star Fox. A new Kirby game would be cool. A new Metroid game would be awesome. F-Zero on the Wii U would be sick. There's a lot of Nintendo titles I'm looking forward to. Definitely. A new Mario Galaxy. Maybe that's one of the new 3D Mario games that they've been hinting about. It's possible. Sarah Pisani 29. Do you do a lot of computer gaming? Right now, average, so-so. But I'm going to be honest with you, back in the day, that's all I did. Well, not all I did, but a big chunk of it. Put it to you this way, I remember when CD-ROM first actually came out. And I was obsessed with CD-ROM, and the video games were, if you think they're expensive now, you should see what they were back then in the day, back in PC. And there was there was little tiny computer shops down the street that sold these games, and I would be there like every weekend buying a $80 game or whatever. Trust me, it was crazy. I was into it, man. I had racks, I had wicker racks filled in my room with PC games, with boxes, with box art. Every kind of game you could think of. King's Quest, Police Quest, Phantasmagoria, all the Sierra games, Leisure Suit Larry, Monkey Island. Before that, I had all the 3.5-inch discs, all the 5-inch discs, the floppy discs. I had, the original Monkey Island. I had all these old original DOS games. I had loads of PC games. Forget about it. I was obsessed. More than consoles back then. I was running, I had a green screen computer back in the day. Then I upgraded to a color, and it was like, whoa, and I had Sound Blaster, and from the beginning of gaming, it was like people used to come over here and sit around my computer and be like, whoa, what is this contraption you got here? I mean, it was like when it was foreign. There was no internet or nothing yet. There was no online. Way even before I was doing the BBS days. Sure, forget about it. Yeah, but now, like I was just playing Marvel Heroes the other day. I do a lot of Diablo 3. I do a lot of StarCraft. So yeah, I still keep up with the computer games, but not as much as I did back in the day. Back in the day, I was like glued. When the new PC game came out, man, it was in my hand. I had them pre-ordered. I was standing in front of the computer store. I remember when the truck pulled up. What games you got? Interplay was a big company back then. Those of you that remember them, Sierra. Broaderbound, the Myst games, Ribbon. And I'm glad I have a decent amount of my PC collection, and I had to go back and get a few off eBay, that I got rid of you don't think back then. And I had to rebuild my computer collection, but that's actually another idea, another good video that I might do in the future, my PC game collection. Some really nice box artwork and manuals with those collections. Penny Lane Day Tripper. Noticed you like collecting guides. Yes, I do. How many do you have in your collection? That's a good question. What's your favorite one? Very good question. Thanks, love the channel. Yeah, I do love guides. Those of you that follow me, most of my unboxing videos are guides, and I'm always going after the new ones, and I'm always going after the older ones and finding them and collecting them. I got a couple hundred. I got a lot of magazines also. I also collect magazines and video game issues, and Game Informers and whatnot. But a lot of strategy guides. It's really hard to say what my favorite one is. I'll tell you what. More recently, the Ni no Kuni strategy guide is one to recall, one to remember. That's a really phenomenal one. The one for Injustice, Gods Among Us, the limited edition guide is really one of my favorites from the most recent ones. Going back, I like a lot of the Nintendo strategy guides. I find them to be pretty cool, like the Mario Galaxy ones. Man, I'm drawing a blank here. The Zelda ones, like for Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, really enjoy them. Yeah, I really don't have a favorite strategy guide, but there's a couple that come to mind. There's some guides that really go all out. Arkham City was a really nice limited edition strategy guide. The new BioShock Infinite strategy guide is really well done. So I have a lot of favorites. Kate Burns, what is your favorite fast food restaurant? I would probably have to say Wendy's. Can't you tell? Speed Race Go. What's your favorite and least favorite feature of the Xbox One? You know, as far as what we know. Remember, the system's not out. E3 didn't happen yet. We don't know everything. Again, you watch my reactions video, you can find all that out. It's pretty common sense. From what I know so far, you know, it's hard to say. I got to see these things in action. I'm hoping, you know, I'm sure, but E3, when they really concentrate on the gaming aspect, they're going to really show some nice stuff off. You know, the specs are pretty decent. I'm hoping that they up the DDR RAM, you know, to make it equally competitive with the PlayStation 4. I believe it uses DDR3 and Sony's using 5. But the specs are decent. I'm actually liking that it has a Blu-ray drive. That's pretty cool. I wasn't really expecting that. Least favorite, you know? Well, maybe the Kinect, having to have the Kinect all the time. And supposedly having it online all the time. And, you know, the whole DRM thing and the used game fees, but we'll see. Let's see how that pans out before we make any judgments. But there's definitely a lot that I'm looking forward to. I'm definitely looking forward to Forza 5 on the Xbox One. I'm hoping that they have... Oh, and also all the new IPs that are supposedly coming out. Okay. Did I skip one? No. Tammy Gamer Girl, most anticipated Nintendo E3 game announcement. Most anticipated Nintendo. Well, I guess that kind of goes back to MikeBox720's question. I gotta tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing some footage of that new Zelda. Not Wind Waker. I'm talking about a brand new HD Zelda. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to seeing what the new. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how Pikmin 3 looks right now. But as far as like what's not announced or unannounced, you know, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know exactly as far as anything other than games what their announcement is. I know they're not going to have a stage show. I know they're not going to have a press conference. So it's going to be strictly based on software. And there's a lot of software. There's a lot of Nintendo games I'm anticipating a lot. I can't wait to see what the new Mario Kart looks like again. You know, there's quite a lot that I am expecting from Nintendo. I hope they do a good E3. That'll really help them out a lot. Really start getting some of these games out, at least announced. I know the new Luigi U is coming out in August. That looks pretty cool. Ladybox 360. What do you think of the Adobe CC announcements? Oh, Christ. That's a video in itself. Also, Lightroom 5 thoughts. Well, you see my Lightroom 5 first impressions, and I've been messing with it. I really, really like Lightroom 5. I'm looking forward to that. It's got some really nice features. I mean, just think of everything I liked about Lightroom 4 and more and better. So, yeah, definitely. That's going to be a good release. I've actually been messing with the beta more and more now. I should probably do a follow-up video to the first one. The first one did very well. As far as views. Yeah, that whole CC thing, I don't know yet. I got to get my hands on it. I got to see what it's all about. Right off the bat, I'm not really crazy about it. I got to be honest. And a lot of people are not. I think it's silly, to be honest with you. The money that I put into my graphic design company and studio in Photoshop, from every version, let's just say, up until CS6, the money that I poured out into that, I definitely want to get more use out of that, as opposed to being subjected to a subscription, a monthly or whatever subscription. That's, sure, it may be great up front, but how long into time is that going to start really adding up, and then you're like, huh? I don't own this. It's not, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about that. I got to think about that and then do a reactions video. Like I said, it's coming out soon. I think like in a week or so. I gotta see then. I gotta see what it's all about. But from what I understand, it's not really the path that I was hoping that Adobe. I know why they're doing it. It's obvious. I understand what they're doing and what a lot of these gaming console companies and games are doing nowadays. It all makes sense when you think about why they're doing it. But what about the customers, though? What about the loyal customers? I don't know. The world's coming to an end, I think. Hopefully the next gen comes out before then. And another Ozfest. Kerry and Terry, 87. That's a cool name. I guess this is for both of you then. What was the most recent movie you watched? I haven't been really up lately on movies. There's a lot actually coming out that I want to see. And there's quite a few that have been coming out that I missed. But the last one that I watched was, I want to say Jack Reacher and Chasing Mavericks. So that was the last, most recent ones that I watched. So, that is it for this episode of Questions for the Goof. And as you know, I am a goof, and I like to answer your questions, so it all fits. Thanks for submitting them. I hope everybody, especially the people that wrote me, get to see this episode. Please comment. I want to hear your reactions. I hope I answered your question as best and honest as I could. I didn't rehearse or study these questions. It's actually the first time that I'm actually really looking at them. That's how I like to do this show. Thank you for making it possible for me to make an episode 2. Hopefully we can make an episode 3 in the upcoming month or so. Sometime in July, maybe. I like to space these out, maybe do them monthly. And hopefully get about the same or about equal amount of questions for the next episode. So thanks for everybody for contributing. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know what you think of Questions for the Goof. And I'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the channel. That's a wrap.